Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started.
Simple theory and easy enough to live by. Thank you. Thank you, Sadhguru. With that, I think I would like to open the questions up to the house. And I'm sure we have a volley of questions which I can already see hands going up in the air. I don't even know where to start. Okay, yeah. Sorry? You worked hard for this? Okay, then I suppose hard work should never go unfounded.
Hello?
Is there a mic that is circulating?
Okay, you can shout it.
Yeah, you seem, if you have worked hard, you can scream loud. Yeah, there you go.
Namaste Sadhguru and hi, Karan, Johar. I'm 31, I've kept myself single all my life so that I could accomplish.
No, you should go back there. It doesn't come to me, the sound. Yeah.
My name's Rishabh, I'm 31. I've kept myself single all my life so I could accomplish something big. And you of all people should know how important and difficult it is. Important because to accomplish something big, if you're single, it helps without added responsibilities on your shoulders. And difficult because…
I know you're trying to speak from your heart, but microphone works best here.
I just didn't want to be too loud. Okay. And difficult because, you know, India, they keep asking you why you're still single. I would like to space dive. And I've talked to 1 million people about this, and I've knocked on 100 doors to turn down every single time, including the doors of ISRO.
Can't get a thing.
Including the doors of ISRO, and they said they don't have enough funds.
It's a very long question and we have not heard most of it.
What?
I
can't hear a thing actually. I'm feeling incapable. Yeah. What is your question, sir?
Okay, so my question is, I would like to space dive.
You would like to space?
Space dive. So it's basically going all the way up to space.
You want to go to space?
Okay.
And diving from there.
Okay.
And dive what in space?
It's a space
Oh, space dive?
Yes.
Oh, you want to space dive?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and the thing is, I've knocked on 100 doors only to be turned down every single time because even ISRO turned me down saying they don't have enough funds. Space dive is important because India has gone leaps and bounds forward in space technology, but in the human space technology, it's way back. My question to you, Sadhguru, is my biggest weakness is I like to live in danger. My question to you, Sadhguru, is where do I find an organization that will help me with the discipline, yoga and meditation, that will help me with this? And where do I find a person, most preferably a movie director, they'll fund this project, understand the importance of it, understand the importance of this project, that India needs a human space program, fund it, and make a movie out of it which has less drama, less songs, and more of how a person struggles to get the mission accomplished.
Okay.
And get
Essentially, he's asking Sadhguru for funding and then Karan to film it. I get it's a nice dream to have, but again, for a lot of companies, it is profit. Obviously, it has to make a profit. Like, there's one person who did a space dive. It was, I forgot what his name is. But it was funded by Monster Energy Drink, I think. Probably more funding than just that one energy drink, but yeah, I don't know. There's no real answer to that unless there is a research company that wants to take a look at space diving. But I don't think there's many companies that will see profit or any use for that, just because no one's going to be necessarily space diving. Well, they're airplane diving, so someone could start up a company for space diving. Maybe. You have to find that company though.
We got the question. You took a long time to get to the question, but…
He wants to space dive, he wants me to make a movie, he wants to help.
No, he wants money.
He wants money. My dearest 31-year-old, that's all I heard, that you were 31. If I had money, the last thing I would do is give it to you to space dive. There's many things that I would do with that money, and yours is not on my bucket list. But would you like to answer his space diving?
The day after tomorrow, that's on 5th, day after tomorrow is… I'm sorry, tomorrow is 5th. Tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening I'm at the ISRO at Sriharikota for the launch. Let me see if I can attach you to the rocket.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Would you…
What kind of a waste of a question. But hey, he shot his shot though. Gotta give him credit for that.
pass your mic on,
No,
sir?
no, the boy is very serious.
Yeah, he's very serious about this. I don't know.
So,
Would you-
about you being single, you have saved one life.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, whether you space dive or you don't dive or you nose dive, all of us are born single and we die single. In between what drama you do is up to you. So you want to do a single act or a double act or a multiple act, it's up to you. But essentially, we are born single and we die single. And if you want to space dive, this is comic book stuff. It means nothing. Do not waste your life. You're a young man.
He's a thrill seeker.
Don't waste your life thinking, I want to space dive, I want to do this, and the Karan is going to fund it. He made it very clear. He has other ideas for his money, and I'm glad.
Well, you get married, that's like space diving. It's the same thing. You don't know where you're going, you're just diving.
Ouch. But yes, I mean, there could be something to do with space diving, because again, there are businesses out there who do, what is it, just diving, airplane diving, you know, just for the thrill. People love it. People pay to go do that kind of stuff. But that technology is old. Just flying planes has been, I don't know how many years, 30 plus years, 50 plus years, but space, actually, so space is 1970s, so you could say maybe, what is that, 30, so 50 years, so airlines definitely a lot older than that, maybe closer to 100 years, but the technology of space, while it advanced, is still super expensive, whereas just small private planes are not that expensive, relatively speaking. So there could be a business opportunity for him for space diving. I'm sure people who do airline diving, or you know, diving air or whatever it's called, like skydiving, will do space diving. He could have a kind of a proposition if he has to gain a lot of knowledge and be able to sell it to entrepreneurs and stuff.
Yes.
Sadhguru, Jesus.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
When I told my teenage daughter about this program, her immediate reaction was an excited wow. She's here with me and this program is everything we thought it would be. Question for you, Karan. What exactly inspired you to do this session with us, Sadhguru?
Whoa.
Thank you, ma'am.
He did not say he's inspired.
I was. And the lady definitely has it right. It is because, as I said somewhere, that there are many questions that I constantly seek answers for. I find myself in a dilemma between my emotions, between my fears, my anxieties, my tussle internally between my letting go of religion and holding on to what I understand of spirituality. I haven't been able to seek too many answers through the books I've read or the people I've heard. To me, Sadhguru has been a revelation in more ways than one, because he made many of my answers, the answers that I was looking for, resonate with my life. And I think eventually what we look for is deep resonance. And anything that you attach yourself to, be a spiritual energy, a god perhaps, a religion, you feel that you need to find answers within that resonance. And I felt that my life resonated with everything that you said and everything that you professed. And that's why I was very interested and excited to be part of this platform.
Wow, that's a good answer, and that very much so is also with me with discovering Eastern philosophy, or way of life, as I like to call it, because it's not only just a religion; it's also a way of life, and you could literally not believe in any gods, and it's still part of the same aspect, which is wonderful. It's all inclusive, and it's all inclusive, not by force either, too. Through my journey through this, a lot of the things that I believed in, that I experienced, and that I believe in, didn't really resonate with a lot of the Western religions. Because it's so strict, it's so rigid. There's no room for allowance in anything. You have to follow this path, and those paths I did not believe in. It's just so restrictive. And then the things that I discovered merely by thinking about my situations, about just things in general, Sadhguru, Osho, Lakhani, Swami Sarvapriyananda, Swami Tatmananda, Mayananda, I believe. Sorry, I can't remember all their names. All of them have said a lot of things that I've thought about and have expanded on my thoughts on that so much more than what I thought of, obviously. I honestly don't think I could have expanded it any more, because maybe lack of experience, lack of something, or it is lacking of something, and them saying it just expanded upon the things that I already knew, that just barely touched upon, and even learning some new things too. And that's about. Someone in the comments said that they didn't see me grow. I wanted to answer in comments about that, and I mean, I personally, growth for me in this thing has been slow, but it's because some to a lot of the things they teach is something that I've learned, but they've expanded my knowledge or wisdom on these subject matters that I've learned. And it's because it's a lot of things that I believed. But the thing is, the thing that shouldn't surprise anyone really is these things that Sadhguru, Osho, and there's other swamis and gurus that are talking are really common sense, wisdom type things. Things, if you just kind of observe, you'll see it in the world. It's very, I won't say very obvious. It is obvious, but maybe not very obvious. And it's quite clear it is not obvious to a lot of people. And as I think about it, and as Sadhguru talks, gurus and swamis are talking about these things, they are literally common sense things, and it's just fascinating. Again, that is something that I never really thought about, but as in that it's common sense, but I've thought about them, but never realized how common sense they are. And it's just fascinating how whenever Sadhguru, again, swamis and gurus talk about this, how it just like, it clicks, like, oh my god, things are just common sense. How are people not getting this? But it's because they don't they don't take the time to just sit there and think about things. It's on to the next distraction, next distraction, next distraction, next distraction. It's just a never-ending distractions of different things of the external world. They don't have time to think about their actions, why they did it, what's going to do for you, or anything like that. It's just, again, very fascinating. So my growth, personal growth, from my own opinion of myself, it's facts now, that there was growth. Now, it's not obvious, not blatantly obvious, I don't think. There are some things that are blatantly obvious, which is something I learned new, but also at the same time, I think most of the things that I've learned has just been an expansion of what I already know and observed myself in life. Although, again, those observations are very limited, and the gurus and swamis have expanded on those observations that I did on my own personal life even greater than what they already are.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was meant to go to you first. Yeah. Behind you, Deezer.
And one more thing, sorry. And that's the reason why I listen to people, is because I can I can listen to what they say and take in their experience into my own, and then judge for myself based on that experience of learning to see how things are handled, how they handled it, why they handled it, and then put myself in that situation, how I would have handled it with all the knowledge, all the information that I could gather, obviously. So this is adding more experience into my repertoire, if you could say, and then trying to be an expansive of experience. But obviously I'm still limited based on my surroundings and the people that I interact with. Sadhguru had many times gone around the world, actually a lot, and also pondered, really knew how to ponder about things like that. I knew how to ponder some things. I was very limited, but again, just finishing that thought part out.
So I'll come back to you. The mic.
Thank you. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Hello, Karan.
Hi.
There are two questions. If the first one is answered, I don't need the second one's answer. There's a request. Can I please get a hug from you, Sadhguru?
Hey, why don't you try him?
Ouch, man, got a rejection. Oh. After the show.
Why am I a second in that line?
I didn't name the person.
What is your second question? The first is you want a hug. The second is what
Actually,
you can't. You don't go into a kiss then, because that might be detrimental.
No, it's just the presence of Sadhguru for the first time in my life. I just don't want to miss it. I don't know when I get the chance next. So, if I could just… I
After
know
the
it's
show.
a difficult one.
No, nothing difficult about it.
After the show.
It is just that I've been working with people to make them understand. People, especially outside the country, and now unfortunately it's caught up here. Where is my hug, Sadhguru? Can I get my hug?
Oh, good Lord.
You are turning something beautiful into something very ugly.
I would say this. I would ask for a handshake, just to shake his hand and say thank you for or opening up my mind. And a lot of people honestly desperately need it in the West. Probably all over the world, honestly, but the West.
When you are in a certain state of inclusiveness, if it became necessary, you embrace somebody. It's a very beautiful act. Now it's a commodity, where is my hug?
Oh yeah, no.
It's something that you give and take, it's not a transaction. This is what religion has done, everybody hugs 3 times or 4 times or whatever number of times. This is not what it is. All the tenderness that a human being feels within himself or herself, you destroying it and make it into some kind of act. Okay, I will hug you, I'll hug every one of you. What about it? Sweat exchange? So, this is something we need to do, and people also… in India this happens, they grab my hand and Sadhguru bless me, and they place it on their own head.
Oh jeez, you don't do that. You don't grab people.
Blessing will not come like this. Blessing will come when you become receptive, when you're in a certain way. If it's blessed, something wonderful can happen out of it, something tremendous can happen out of it. You grab my hand and what is that blessing? And if you grab my hand or foot or you hug me forcefully, this is called molestation.
All right.
That's why
you
you
got
asked.
your… you got your jadoo ki chappi. So we had… yes, sir. Yeah.
Hello. Namaskar, Sadhguru. I know hug is not possible, but I know you cook very good dosa. Is that possible?
Certainly not here.
I know. No, my question is that when we cook, if we have to get joy of cooking, then that joy is something which is internal, and I cook for my joy. But when you're cooking for others, then you want to give them joy. And at times there's a conflict. Who should win?
Whoa, whoa, what do you mean there's a conflict? No, there should be no conflict. You cook for them, and that's all you should. That's all your expectation is that you cook, and whether they take it or not, that's it. To have an expectation for something that you do is not really doing something out of sheer joy. This is something that I've learned in that my world religion class when they talked about Buddhism, is to give it 110% but expect nothing from it. And if it turns out good, that's great. But if it turns out bad, then you weren't expecting it at all. And that's something that I live by. Try to do things and expect nothing from it. That way you're never disappointed. Kind of like a low standard, I think, but it's really a good idea.
This is for him.
No, no.
No,
it's for
sir.
you. I have different things on my menu.
See, let us not make everything. This is the most fundamental thing of what's being spiritual, or spiritual process means just this. Essentially spiritual process means this, that you live here like only you exist, nobody else but you. Because you see everybody as yourself, and there's no issue. People ask me, Sadhguru, wherever you go, whether it's 10,000 people or 100,000 people, how do you speak? Well, I'm talking to them like if I had the habit I don't have. If I had the habit of talking in front of my mirror, how I would speak to myself, that's how I'm speaking. There is no… what I'm doing is not some kind of oratory or discourse, I'm just talking like I would talk to myself because I don't see anybody but myself. So, spiritual process means just this, that in some way you became all-inclusive. In your experience, you became all-inclusive. So, one thing that has disappeared from your life is comparison and competition. Comparison starts and then it transforms itself into competition and then it goes into ugly things. So even for something as alive and beautiful as joy, joy is joy is the most important aspect of your life, you know. That is, joy means your experience of you being… your existence is fantastic. Your experience of your existence has become beautiful, that's why you're joyful. Now, I'm not joyful because I make the best dosas, not you, okay? Not because I make the best dosas, nor will I be super joyful because I eat whatever the best things that you cook. Before I come into your restaurant, I'll be very joyful. If you make something good, I will eat joyfully. If you make something good, very joyfully I will push it aside. But with your good cooking or bad cooking, you can't steal my joy, nor can you give my joy. I want you also and everybody in the world to become like this, that somebody else cannot determine what happens within you. Because…
Yes, ma'am.
You are calling fundamental sense of slavery that you get into with beautiful names. This is dangerous.
Is it like because when you do something and someone disagrees with it, then you start changing yourself because someone said it?
So, anyway,
Oh.
people are saying wonderful things about your cooking. They've not said anything about you, but they've said wonderful things about your cooking. I would like to eat one day. I don't know if I can afford it, but
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that slave thing, is it because… well, I was gonna kinda add a little bit to it, about obviously if you cook, you know, you take in healthy criticisms from people to hopefully improve your cooking skills, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to take those things. If you deem your cooking to be good for you, and you only want to cook for yourself, then it doesn't matter what anyone else says. If they want to eat your food, they can. If they don't like your food, then they don't eat it. But if you're cooking for other people, then, maybe you want to take in consideration what they say, because you are cooking for them. And it's not to be a slave like he's talking about, but a consideration. But again, it can go back to what he says about, even if they don't like your cooking, don't you have control over your emotions to be joy. You can say, oh, okay, so what's wrong? You can still be joyful even though they disagree with how you cook the food or what you put in the food. You can say, hey, okay, what's wrong with it? And perhaps I could do better. Perhaps I'll change my recipes. You ultimately make the decision. If you own a restaurant, you ultimately make the decision of what you cook, what you prepare, and how you prepare it. Ultimately, the people who come into your restaurant will determine whether they want to continue eating there or not, based on what you cook and what you provide and how good your cooking is. It's pretty straightforward.
We get a mic for you, ma'am.
Namaste Sadhguruji. My name is Devika Patel, and I'd like to ask you a question, because you're a mystic, and even otherwise, please don't say I don't care, because many people out here I'm sure do. My question is, what do you think of reincarnation? Do you believe in it? And if so, can you elaborate on the subject and let us know what you were in your last birth? Thank you.
Now you already put strictures on me as to what I should not say. For me, last 3 lifetimes I have been same work, around the same place, and a few people, handful of people, same people, to such an extent that sometimes by mistake I end up calling them by old names. But you should not believe all this nonsense. No, because the moment you believe it, you will look at this person and little, if they're friendly with you, oh, maybe in my last life,
Oh, okay. I was thinking something
my
different.
past life. It is very good you don't remember a thing about anything, because in your present life, you are not able to handle the emotional tangles and psychological involvements with people. If you remember 10 lifetimes, you will break your mind. It takes an extraordinary sense of dispassion to download many lifetimes of memory and still not respond or react to those things and simply see it for what it is. In your present state, if such things happen, it'll be a disaster. But anyway, you should not believe these things, because you should not believe anything or anybody.
Okay.
You should not disbelieve them either. Now in such a large crowd, I have a huge reputation of being very logically correct, and now you're making me say such stupid things. I'm staking my reputation. You must understand that I wouldn't make that mistake, because I don't gain anything by talking about this, because you insisted that I should not dismiss it. But essentially what you're asking is, let me translate this question for you. Essentially what you're asking is, when you say, is there a past life or is there a future life, what you're asking is, beyond this body, is there something more? That's all you're asking. After my death or before my birth, was there something else? This is the question. Or you're asking, what is the nature of my existence? Well, that's my full-time business, to bring you to that experience as to what is the nature of your existence. You must come. You should not ask just a casual question here in Mumbai and disappear. Now you made me say illogical things in front of all these people. Now you must invest some time to know what is the nature of your existence. Otherwise, it's entertainment question.
I get what it's trying to say. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I made a weird face whenever it said, don't believe. and I was going to go along the lines of the fact that the things that I keep following in my own personal life and also in Hinduism with Sadhguru, Swami Sarvapriyananda, and all the other gurus and swamis out there is the fact of just don't believe, experience it. That is something that I genuinely do follow. So him to say don't believe makes sense, but don't disbelieve. So from my own way to say, it's to don't believe. You can disbelieve, but not to the extreme where you don't change your mind. Have suspicions, have questions, but go into it with an open mind. So you still have a disbelief, but you still also have an open mind in it, because you don't want to just believe in something. That's, in my opinion, the most important thing is not to have a belief in something. You must know for sure that it is something that you truly believe in. As in, you've experienced it and you know from your experience that it's true.
I don't know, you have a color you like? Don't ask.
He's working hard, but after him, I'm afraid of hard working.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh.
yes. Yes. Hard working in blue. No, we'll get you a mic. We have just 2 questions after this gentleman. Yeah, I'm going to get there, right there.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Please somebody give a mic to that lady who's up there with her hand up after this boy is over.
Yeah.
Pranam, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, my name is Aishwarya Nigam, and I have been to the ashram many times, and I have read many of your books.
You must quickly come to the question.
The question is, Sadhguru, I am stuck here, and I want you to please guide me. Tell me in a child's language what is the answer and what is the solution. I don't want to give importance to my own thoughts and emotion. Tell me how. Please make me understand.
I think that's something that you have to schedule one-on-one time for. That's not something that he could necessarily answer right away, because there's so many factors, I'm sure, that goes into it.
I don't know when will I get this mic again. Although I'm always in your presence, but I want the answer, Sadhguru. I don't want to
When you get out of this hall, start walking south. If it's a genuine question, if it's a question which truly matters, you must seek. I would have gone to the ends of the world if I found somebody who could answer the billion questions I had. If really it matters to you, the question, you must seek. If you think going south is the answer, if you don't think so, you shouldn't bother with me. If you think so, you shouldn't waste a moment of your life, because I want everybody to at least be straight and some basic integrity to your life. You ask big questions and you leave it and go and sit in the matinee show. I'm not saying you should not go to the matinee, I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong things, wrong examples.
That's fine, no offense taken.
So, I want you to understand, somebody came and asked me recently, Sadhguru, are you a devotee of Shiva? I said, you fool, did you ever see me sitting somewhere and doing Shiva puja? Did you see me? My entire bloody life, I've invested in you, all right? There is nothing else I do except constantly seeing how to raise people to the next step. And you are asking me, I'm a devoted to somebody, I'm bloody devoted to you and you're not seeing it? So, when you ask this question, I take the question seriously, I believe you're genuine. But then you go and get drunk today evening. I am not against any of those things, matinee or drink or this or that. All I'm saying is, you must have some integrity to your life. When you ask a big question, you must make the investment, isn't it, of time and energy? You must invest life. Because to bloody answer this, I've invested my entire life. Yes.
Sadhguru, you had pointed out there was… yes, to the lady
That
right
lady,
at the back.
yes, please.
Right at the back.
I have a question.
One moment, sir. We're just going to the lady and then we'll get… who's that person?
Sure,
She
sure,
still
right.
doesn't have the microphone, he's on now.
Okay, you're on the mic. All right, go ahead.
Namaskaram, Sadhguruji. My question is, what can be the greatest change one can bring to our life to make it more blissful in this birth?
My answer would be, if I was asked, let me just see if I get it somewhere in the right ballpark of Sadhguru's answer, which would be, oh yeah, actually, yeah, inner engineering basically. It's the fact that you have control over your body and your emotions. You are control over your own joy and happiness in life. I was going to also say, actually originally was a way of separating yourself from your body, to see your emotions, your body, and your thoughts as something separate from yourself, so that you yourself are not tainted or confused or emotional when you have these feelings. You can separate yourself from them and then still act appropriately, as opposed to just being reactive with the feelings and thoughts that you have.
You got to change.
You have to…
You got to change us.
You got to change.
There's nothing else.
Oh.
You think by doing something else this will become blissful? No. This one has to change to become blissful.
Yes, the lady. Has she got the mic?
Well, that was quick.
Yes. Just reaching you, ma'am.
Namaskar to one and all. So my question is, I get very attached easily, and now I feel I'm very attached to my responsibilities. So how do I break this bondage? And if I really want to do something for myself, not for anybody, just to feel the joy that I've been listening to you, if I want to really, really feel that joy, how do I break the bondage of responsibilities and move ahead? And how do I overcome my attachments?
It sounded like she was actually kind of joyful about these attachments at the very beginning. I was going to say Bhakti Yoga, a devotion to those things. If you don't see yourself suffering from it, you won't be. But my other answer also applies, but I wonder what Sadhguru would say about that. That's interesting.
I want you to understand that responsibility is never a bondage. Responsibility means you chose to respond to something wholeheartedly. So it is never a bondage. And how is it opposing your joy? I don't understand. Because to what extent you have the ability to respond, only to that extent you know life. If you lose your ability to respond, you become dead. In fact, somebody is dead means they've lost all ability to respond, that's all it is. So, don't ever think your responsibility is stopping you from being joyful. If you had no responsibilities, many of you would be freaked to madness. You are fortunate, you got something to dabble with. Nothing to do, I'll keep you in a room, nothing to do, I'll feed you well, you will go crazy. You must be glad there are distractions for your madness. So, you must understand this. If your experience of life is such that if you sit here, you start enjoying your existence, not your thought, not your emotion, not your action, your existence, if you start enjoying, you have a certain joy and blissfulness about your very existence, then all this jargon doesn't work. If that one thing has not happened to you, you are in a desperate condition, you have to do a million things to know a little bit of pleasantness. But tell me sincerely, genuinely, in a 24-hour segment, how many moments of actual joy do you know? Most people can count on their fingers, many people have nothing to count. They will say, oh, the day I got married, I was so happy. The day I got my job, I was so happy. It happened, it's history. Because it is externally instigated. Otherwise, by yourself, you will become a wreck. Please change this. Then all these jargons and philosophies are irrelevant to you because you know the joy of your existence.
Thank you. We have one last question. Yes, sir. Huh? I'm just going from this gentleman, I'll come to you. Maybe two. Yes.
Sadhguru.
I'll leave that to Sadhguru after this. How many more he'd like to answer, but yes.
Sadhguru ji, namaskaram. Karan ji, namaskaram. I am Mohit Sardana. I've come from Karnal just to see you live and I'm feeling blissfully blessed. I didn't come with a question, but now I have a question. Sadhguru ji, you just made a mention that word does not know anything about you. And that remains a fact. Even then, any somebody from the world who comes in little contact with you gets so much benefited. So when would you reveal? Or my question is, what does it take to become a Arjuna for the yogi of highest order of our times, R. Krishna, the you, to reveal? Sorry if that question is still invalid.
This is difficult to articulate without sounding all wrong. Because see, everybody is working or everybody is trying to live their life with different frames that they have created for themselves. You can call this mindsets, you can call this framework, you can call this family, you can call this society, you can call this ethics, morals, ideologies, whatever. These are all frameworks you created. But you understand, a frame means you are putting a self-imposed limitation upon yourself. I can understand, he being a director, producer, he's thinking of frames because he's thinking of capturing something for doing something else. I'm asking you a simple question. Do you want to capture this life or do you want to experience this life? Hello? You want to experience this life. You're here to experience this life and know the reason. Everything else is secondary. When I say life, when I use the word life, most of you will think, oh, my work, my family, my home, my car, my dog. That's not life, these are all accessories to life. You added all these accessories believing that with these accessories your life will get enhanced. But your money, your wealth, your family, your relationships, these are all just accessories, isn't it? The real thing is here, never experienced. So, to first make somebody… there are many wonderful people around me. This is the biggest wealth I have. I have some truly, absolutely fabulous people around me all the time. They won't let me pass through a single day without tears of joy, love, ecstasy. Without witnessing this, a single day won't pass for me, no matter which part of the world I'm in. I don't think there's better wealth in the world, in the physical world, in the human societies than that constantly you're surrounded by people who are shedding tears of love and ecstasy. Having said that, their experience might have become beautiful by being in a certain presence, by realizing a few things, but still, they still have frameworks. Because very few individuals have the sense of… a total sense of abandon to be here without framework. As long as you're with the framework, we can add one drop here, one drop there, one more drop means it'll break. So in my life, if by the time I fall dead, if I can share maybe 1 or 2% of what I have known, I think I'm very fortunate. because I'm still looking, I've not given up on it. There can always be one or two individuals who will come up. We have been working on them, preparing them, so that somebody can exist here without any sense of frames, without any sense of what will be lost. There are many people around me who, in every action that they do, they're not saying it verbally, in every action that they do, they show that they're willing to die for me. I keep reminding them in 1,000 ways, dying for me is not the answer. That you are willing to allow this life to happen in full flow. This is where the answer is, because only if you are a full-fledged life can I share what's happening within me. Otherwise, I'm talking about extending your frames, giving you a different frame which is more difficult to manipulate. But totally undoing the frames will need this, that you are a full-fledged life. When I say a full-fledged life, right now you have invested too much in your thought, too much in your emotion. You look up to something, you look down on something, you like something, you dislike something. In this state, it cannot be done. I'm working on people, lots of them, and I'm also scanning the world, because there could be anybody somewhere, because that will be a blessing, not to me, but to the world. If there can be human beings, not one, if there can be 1,000 human beings on this planet, or if there can be 10,000 human beings or 1,000,000 human beings who are just life, no bull, just life. Because this is the only thing that you're aspiring for. You may think you want money, you may think you want pleasure, you may think you want something. No, you are only wanting to having a larger slice of life somehow, isn't it? That's all there is, because that is all there is. You think money will get that, education will get that, love will get that, pleasure will get that, but essentially you want a larger slice of life. So if you want in slices, we will cut it and serve it, because we have to keep you going, otherwise you'll run away. But I want to see you a day when I can throw life at you just like that, without making slices out of it. That would be a great day. Make it happen, because I want to change. I want to change the perception of what is street. If you say street, if you use the word street, people will think booze, people will think drugs, people will think prostitution, all the ugly things. If we do the right things, in the next 20-25 years, we can change this, that street means beauty, street means love, street means meditativeness, street means spiritual process, street means the highest things. We can do this if we are willing. We have the tools, we have the means. Why I'm saying this is never before. Many great beings have come, but nobody had the means that we have today. Krishna came, a gentle being, when he spoke, only one man heard, yes, and another man overheard. When Adiyogi Shiva came, only 7 people heard. Today we have the ability, we can sit here and speak to every human being on the planet. Never before this was possible. Now we have such an ability to communicate. If we do not communicate the right things, we are committing a crime against humanity. So when we have this kind of power to communicate, whatever is the highest dimension of life should become street. My essential work is this, to bring down spirituality from mountain tops to street. That's why my language is little street.
Not at all. With that, I'm sorry we won't be able to take any more questions. We've reached the end of this conversation with the mystic, and thank you, Sadhguru. Thank you for your words, your wisdom, and everything that you always bring to the energy table of our universe. Thank you so much. It's truly been an honor. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you.
कहाँ से आया कहाँ जाओगे खबर करो अपने तन की कहाँ से आया कहाँ जाओगे खबर करो अपने तन की
See, I'd like to see. Did he go to the crowd to hug that guy? I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead, I think. Oop. For some odd reason, I was watching this and I was thinking, you know, if I was there and I really wanted to, if I could handshake Sadhguru or just to see him face to face, I'd stay there for 2 hours or however long it takes to get to the front of that line. And this is something that he was talking about the person seeking answers. If there's something that you really want, you have to put in the effort and time for it. I'm still hopeful that guy gets the hug from Sadhguru. Although it's not looking very promising. Maybe not in this video. Skip a little bit just in case. So many people with their phones out. Can't blame them though. I'd probably be doing the same thing. Get one of those like selfie poles that kind of stick up really high and say, "Hey G, take a picture." Oh, well that's it. Okay. So I guess that's it for Karan Johar and conversation with Sadhguru. I can't think of anything else to end with, other than. What are my thoughts on this? Actually, I don't really have much thoughts. I mean, everything was pretty much said throughout the entire video. So that's the end of this video and the end of this reaction from Sadhguru. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.